You may have lived 30 years, 40, 50, but have you actually lived your life or the one someone else chose for you? Carl Jung, father of analytical psychology, wrote something disturbing. The unlived life is a disease from which one can die. Not metaphorically, literally. Today we break down what Jung discovered about what happens when you finally find yourself, and what happens when you never do. To understand Jung, you need his architecture of the mind. Think layers. Outermost. Persona. The mask you show the world. Center. Ego. What you think you are. But deeper, the self. Who you actually are. And between ego and self, a dark zone. Jung called it the shadow. Concept 1. The persona. The mask you forgot you're wearing. From childhood, you learned. Certain behaviors rewarded. Others punished. You learned to smile when sad, be strong when terrified, perform when you wanted to rest. Each adaptation added layer to the mask, until the mask became so thick you forgot there was a face underneath. Ever felt you didn't recognize yourself? Did something? And wondered, why did I say that? That's not me. But if it wasn't you, who was it? It was the persona, the character you've played so long you forgot it was a role. Concept 2. The shadow. Everything you refuse to see in yourself. Jung said, everything we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves we eventually encounter as fate. Every time you said, I'm not like that. Every time you denied a part of yourself. Every emotion, desire, fear you buried, you added to the shadow. Here's the test. What irritates you most in others? Arrogance? Selfishness? Weakness? Jung suggested, what bothers you most in others is often what you refuse to see in yourself. The shadow doesn't disappear because you ignore it. It projects onto others. Concept 3. Individuation. The process of becoming who you actually are. Jung spent his life studying what he called individuation, becoming an individual, not socially, psychologically, meaning remove the masks, integrate the shadow, reconcile the parts you separated, become whole. Jung observed this process often begins around 40. What we call midlife crisis isn't a crisis. It's a call. Your real life. Knocking at the door. Finally, concept 4. The two halves of life. First half builds. Second half seeks meaning. First half of life. Building your place in the world. Career. Family. Reputation. Achievements. Gaze turned outward. What do people think of me? Have I succeeded? But somewhere, often around 40, something shifts. Questions become different. Who am I really? Does my life have meaning? Am I living or playing a role? Jung warned, ignoring this call is dangerous. Depression without apparent cause, addictions emerging, destructive decisions, affairs destroying families, often just desperate attempts to feel something real, to break the mask, to touch authentic life. Concept 5. Signs you haven't found yourself yet. Be honest. Do you feel emptiness nothing fills? Do things for others without knowing what you want? Feel like an imposter in your own life? Fear being truly alone with your thoughts. These aren't weaknesses, they're symptoms. Of an unlived life, of a self never met. This is where Jung's Modern Man in Search of a Soul became useful. Reading it, I realized these questions weren't crisis signs. They were awakening signs. Fair warning, Jung isn't easy reading, dense, but for anyone feeling lost in their own life, sensing they're living beside themselves, probably the first book giving language to that unease. Link in description. So how do you find yourself? Jung proposed a path. Step 1. Awareness. Recognize the masks you wear. See them as masks, not your face. Step 2. Confrontation. Meet the shadow, what you denied, what you rejected. Step 3. Integration. Accept that all these parts, even the darkest, are part of you. Step 4. Transformation, finally become whole. Shadow work isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming complete. Jung said, "I'd rather be whole than good." Being good often means being incomplete, rejecting parts that aren't good. Being whole means accepting all of it. Even the dark, especially the dark. When you finally find yourself, something changes. Not external circumstances. Your relationship with yourself. You're not playing a role anymore. You're inhabiting it. You're not fleeing silence anymore. You're seeking it. You're not asking, "What do people think?" You're asking, "Who am I?" And you have an answer. Jung wrote, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." Most people spend lives looking outside, searching in relationships, careers, possessions for something they'll never find there. Because what they're looking for is inside. Let me ask an uncomfortable question. If you died tomorrow, would you have lived your life or the life your parents wanted? The life society expected? The life you thought you should live? Jung warned, most people die without ever meeting themselves. Don't be one of them. Life doesn't begin when you're born. Life begins when you find yourself, when you remove the masks, when you embrace the shadow, when you meet the self for the first time. This meeting can happen at 30, 50, 70, or never. The choice is yours. Quick check. Where are you in this journey? Still wearing masks unknowingly? Have you met your shadow? Are you in life's first half, or has the second begun? Have you started finding yourself? Drop your age in comments. Tell me where you are in this journey. Still building? In crisis? Waking up? And if this video hits you, really hits you, just write, "I'm waking up." Know someone living beside themselves? Wearing masks they don't see? Wondering why life feels empty despite success? Send them this. Sometimes one Jung quote wakes what's been sleeping for years.